Okay, Sigma are killing it lately. Let's talk about it. So Sigma Canada was kind enough to send over this lens for review. You are looking at the 20mm f2.0 DG-GN, and I don't get to keep this lens, which is too bad because I love it, but I have to send it back, and Sigma hasn't told me what to say. I'm pretty sure they don't even watch my videos, but it's cool that they sent it over for review, and I figured why not start the review with the lens, because that's probably why you clicked on the video. I'm going to show some video footage, and I'm going to show some photo footage. I'm going to show some photos as well, because I think that this is very good lens for landscape photography, and that is a little hobby of mine. I'm not very good at it, but maybe with this lens I'll be a little bit better. And I'll also show you this lens in the studio as well, because I think this could definitely be a good studio lens for a lot of you guys out there. And of course, we're going to do a vlog test. 20mm, huh? That's a perfect focal length for vlogging, at least in my opinion. Let's go check it out. That person just beeped at me. Do they want to check it out? Okay, so it is windy as heck out here, and it's also treacherous. I just slipped, I went down. Luckily I didn't have my camera in my hand with the lens that Sigma kindly loaned me. You hear that, Sigma? Because my lips are frozen. It's freezing out here and it's so slippery. The things that I do for you people and YouTube ad revenue, and mostly it's the YouTube ad revenue, but this is, I'm just holding it, not even at arm's length. A comfortable bend in my arm here on my little Ulanzi tripod. It's windy, so hopefully the little wind muff is doing a good job. But this is an excellent focal length for vlogging if you want to show the natural beauty of, let's see, a construction site. If you want to show the natural beauty of a Toronto construction site, this is the lens for you. So now we're on active stabilization here, and the reason I switched to active is because I was doing the catalyst browse for the last one, and I had to stop the lens down to about f4.5, not about, exactly f4.5, because it's a little bright out here, and I don't want to get my ND filter out of my bag because my fingers are going to fall off. Should have worn better clothing. Anyway, the thing is, with the A7IV, the active stabilization is so good that it's nice to use it, so you don't have to run it through catalyst browse and do that extra step. So with this 20mm focal length, you can do the active stabilization, and then you still have a comfortable length of focal to vlog your gorgeous face. Huh? Gorgeous frozen face. Ugh. Now I'm on the little ZV-E10, and because this lens is pretty light and small and pairs so nicely with my little Sony APS-C cameras, I think that this is a viable option for you, even when it comes to vlogging. Obviously, boy, are they loud over that construction site. Obviously, this is a little bit tighter of a focal length because you're looking at like a 30mm field of view compared to the full frame's 20. But since I have my little Ulanzi selfie stick here, tripod, not selfie stick, you just extend it out a little bit to get that extra reach. And so for me, I don't know about you, but for me, this is a viable vlogging lens. I'm holding it comfortably. Everything is going just fine. For $6.99, you get a 30mm focal length at an f2 amount of light. I think that's pretty good. So, as promised, here we are in the Camera Crisis luxurious studio setting, and I'm using the 20mm f2 from Sigma right now. I'm using it on my little ZV-E10. Hold on, I'm gonna put down my apple juice. I'm using it on my little ZV-E10 because that gives me the type of focal length I'm looking for in my little studio space. Normally I like to shoot at a 30mm or about a 35mm, and so right now, if you want to know how far I am from the camera, I am touching the lens right now. So I'm about one muscular arm's length away from the camera. But as you can see a little bit of distortion when you're getting closer to the edges. Ooh, look at this. I got balloon hand. But when it comes to a shot, the sensible shot setup that you have, this, I think, works very well. So if you have full frame cameras and APS-C cameras, this can serve many purposes for you. Like for instance, the 16mm from Sigma themselves is my all-time favorite APS-C lens, the 16mm f1.4, fantastic prime lens. But when if you wanted to take that lens and put it on a full frame and then start taking landscape photography, you're going to go down to APS-C mode on that camera and you're going to lose way more megapixels. So if you're looking for about a 30mm APS-C length for your, studio, but you want a landscape lens for a full frame, this would fit your bill right here. And you don't have to use an APS-C camera. All of the Sony full-frame cameras, they just can go into APS-C crop mode, so you'll get this exact same field of view. I could have done this on the A7IV, but I just wanted to change it up and do it on my little Dougie, my little ZV-E10. Now, if it's not clear yet, I am a big fan of this lens and the images it produces. The video out vlogging was super sharp. I loved it very much. When it comes to landscapes, I really enjoy the pictures that I'm getting out of it. And when it comes to video and vlogging, especially if you're on a full frame camera, you can get quite close to the camera and still have a nice field of view behind you. So then the question becomes, well, at $699, this all seems great. It's got fantastic build quality. Did I talk about the build quality? I haven't done that yet, but the build quality on this is as good as any lens I've ever had. It feels so metallic. It has a clicky aperture ring. Its focus throw is so smooth and so responsive, and it's got a little switch for autofocus, manual focus, and which feels so fantastic. Sigma makes such great lenses right now. I think they might be making the best feeling lenses to use out of anybody. The drawbacks, before I got onto its amazing build quality, and one of the drawbacks is actually with the build quality, it has a clicky aperture ring, which I just love that. For like the G Masters and stuff that I've tried out, I love having an aperture ring where I can just click it into place and it overrides the camera. You can put it into A mode and then it operates like any other lens, but I love having that tactile feel of the aperture and knowing it's set. But you can't switch it to declick, so you can't make a smooth aperture change if that's what you wanted to do in video. If you wanted to be silent, you can't do that. Now, I never do that, so it's not a problem for me, but I'm sure for some people that is a drawback. Also, there's no lens stabilization on this lens. So if you have a camera like an A7IV that has pretty good in-body image stabilization, you don't have to worry that much about that. But a camera like the ZV-E10, let's say, that has no stabilization, then this lens, you're gonna have to be, you're gonna have to bump up your shutter speed to make sure that you get sharper pictures. And the biggest drawback to me is the focus breathing that is on the lens. So here you go, watch, as you can see, as the camera focuses on this, you see the screen move? Whoop, whoop. And that is not just a problem for video. Since this is a wider lens, a lot of people would want to use this for landscapes. And a lot of landscape photographers like to do focus stacking in their pictures. So with the focus breathing, that is going to make it more of a pain in the butt to put your images together in Photoshop and do your photo stacking. You can still do it, but it is a bigger pain in the butt. Whereas the competition for this lens, which is the Sony 1.8 20mm, that lens also has a focus breathing problem. However, if you have an A7IV, like I am lucky enough to have, they actually have the focus breathing compensation built in with some lenses, and the 20mm 1.8 from Sony is in fact one of those lenses. So if focus breathing is a big issue for you, and it might be if you're a video shooter or you're a landscape shooter that likes to do focus stacking, then you may want to pay the extra couple of $100 and get the Sony 1.8. And lastly, on this lens, for drawbacks, there is some pretty heavy barrel distortion and some vignetting, but that can be corrected. Let me show you in Lightroom in just one second. So quickly, I'll show you a photo here that Ansel Adams would have been proud of. You see this moon up here? I got the moon in the daytime because I'm a genius. And here is the railing. As you can see, it's bowed quite substantially, and there's vignetting around the corners here. So I just enable the profile correction, and there you go. The railing is straight, and the vignetting is pretty much gone. And I'm using the Sigma 24 f2 profile correction because they don't yet have one specifically for this lens because it's brand new. But basically, at the click of a button, the barrel distortion and the vignetting is gone. So there you go, obviously very easily correctable, and once they add the profile for this particular lens, it will be even more straightforward. And so this lens can be absolutely fantastic for landscape photographers as long as they don't mind that focus breathing. And myself, I don't do a lot of focus stacking, so that's not much of an issue for me. And in terms of video, as you can see, I'm moving back and forth here. I'm looking at my monitor, and you don't see a lot of focus breathing here at all. It just really happens when you focus from very far away to very close. That is when you'll see it. And now let's finish the video by sending old Marky outside. Oh, that poor son of a gun. I pity him. So this could be a great lens for astrophotography, for landscape photography, for vlogging, for studio video. There's a lot of good reasons to get this lens. And if you want to save a couple of $100 over the Sony 1.8, that's another good reason to get this lens. There's a couple of drawbacks with this lens, but there always are when a price is as reasonable as this at $699. So once again, thanks to Sigma Canada for sending it over, and I hope this helped you make your decision whether or not this is a lens for you. Anyway, I'm gonna go inside and stick my head into a fire because I am freezing cold. We'll see you soon. Okay, bye-bye.